How the heck do we get started painting up our miniatures? Hello friends, my name is Jesse. I am that tabletop guy, and on this channel I show you the tips, tricks, and tools you need to maximize your enjoyment from this miniature painting hobby. In this video, I'm going to give you a simple 3-step process for you to start painting your miniatures with. Now, this video does assume that your miniatures are already primed, but if you need some help with that, I do have another video linked in the description down below that goes through the priming process. I want to give you a very simple 3-step process to get your miniatures painted and on the table quickly and efficiently. The first step is going to be to start with a primed miniature like this one, and we're going to apply a base coat of color to this miniature. And this is going to be where we establish the colors of our miniature. Our color scheme is going to be important here. And we're going to do that by applying thin coats of color, and we're going to slowly work up to the opacity that we want for each color. Now, acrylic paint is going to be somewhat transparent by its nature, and when we thin it down, it gets even more transparent. So aim for 2 thin coats over 1 thick coat. And as you're putting the paint onto the miniature, be very careful that you're not creating unwanted texture by having ridges in your paint. If you place a stroke and there's little ridges at the edge of each stroke, that kind of resembles snow coming off a snowplow. Your paint's too thick, add a little bit more water and thin it down some more. Once you finish the base coat, the next step is going to be to apply a wash such as this brown wash from the D&D line of Army Painter product. And that wash is going to seep down into the recesses and the cracks and add some shading to the model. And it's going to give this little transition from the mid-tone, which is to say our base coat color, into those deep shadows. So at this step, I prefer oil washes, but I highly recommend beginners start with an acrylic wash, as they're a little bit easier to work with. Be very careful to not let these washes pool on the high surfaces of your model. Large flat surfaces tend to cause the wash to pool, and then it creates this coffee ring effect that is very difficult to deal with. So as you're applying wash, make sure it flows into the recesses and doesn't stay on the high flat surfaces. The last step is to highlight our miniature, and I start my highlighting process by taking my same colors I use for my base coats and just come back and hit those high areas where I don't want any shading. Once that's done, mix in a little bit of white or ivory or even a bright yellow into your base colors to raise the value a little bit, and then come back and just hit the upturned surfaces to apply a top-down highlight effect to your miniature. And once that step is done, paint the base with some texture paint, paint your color rim on there like I have on my models here, and that miniature is done. With a little bit of practice, you can get this entire process down to around a half hour per model, maybe 20 minutes if you get really good at it. If you got value from this video, hit that like button. If you've seen a few videos now and you've enjoyed them, consider subscribing to the channel as it really helps me out. And I will see you in the next video.